What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. We've got a lot of news today. I want to give an update on the story about Kotaku's pushing literal fake news yesterday, an apology, and some more information about the author's dicey past and how Kotaku seemingly threw that person under the bus, deservedly so. So I want to start with a brief overview. If you missed yesterday's video, you want to go back and watch that. It came out at like 7 o'clock at night, and it talked about a song lyric in Persona in the Smash Brothers DLC yesterday, perhaps saying a word that they were just incorrect about. They were immediately corrected. The site has refused to take the article down as it remains up, except now they just issued an apology. I don't understand. So they said the apology came out to say, yesterday, we published an article about the inclusion of a Persona 5 song in the latest Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC. Several readers had contacted us about the lyric that appeared to be a disability slur, and listening on section in questioning, this appeared plausible. Plausible, but that isn't what your article said, Kotaku. You said it was a fact. What was even more confusing is that the spoken word section was omitted from the official lyrics. Okay. Happens all the time for songs. We contacted Atlas and Nintendo for comment before publication, but we published the article before a response was received, and a subsequent fallout has shown that that was a mistake. Why not just wait? This is, of course, what happens when your entire business model relies on manufacturing outrage. I'm the editor of the site, and ultimately that means this error was down to me and me alone. No, you're not right. The person that wrote that article, who pushed that false narrative, is also at fault. You are at fault for publishing it. Yes, we agree on that. Many of you had suggested alternative readings for the lyric, from retort it to retard it. We asked Nintendo both for the official transcript of the lyric and for an explanation as to why the section of the song was omitted from the official lyric transcription. We've now received the following reply. We checked with Atlas, who confirmed the actual lyrics of the song do not include this word. Duh. Frustratingly, this does not clear up the confusion that over what the singer actually was saying. It's like they're still trying to say there's some fault here other than their own. This is a textbook non-apology. Why it could have ended after the first paragraph, right? You just say, hey, this is how, let me show you, give you an example how the Escapist apologized to me. The Escapist ran an article that said libel, slanderous things about me, calling me alt-right, calling me all these horrible names. I threatened to have my half-Asian super lawyer reach out to them. Instead, they talked to me on the phone, removed the article, and issued an apology. That's what you do. We all make mistakes. But we accept that this article was a mistake. Publish in haste, as they say, and repent at leisure. We would like to apologize to Atlas, Nintendo, and the many Persona fans who were angry about this piece. It looks like we got it wrong. We screwed up. Sorry. This is how the entire thing should have said. It should have said this, and then the next sentence should have been, we've removed the article. But that's not what it says. Finally, the original article has been updated to reflect this statement and a link back to this apology. However, we've recently been making back-end improvements for our site, and an unfortunate consequence of this new problem where updates are taking quite a while to appear. We will quash this gremlin, but until now, the site is slow to update. This has been the subject of conspiracy theories. Some of you simply demand that we delete the article. Kotaku UK does not delete articles on the internet. What would be the point anyway? I understand that line of thinking, but what they really want is they still want the traffic to this article. They still want people to go read the original article. That's why they won't take it down. They want that delicious ad revenue. They want those page views. Let me tell you, quite honestly, if what your point is that once it's on the internet, it's there forever. We agree. Unfortunately, in this situation, you could have simply acknowledged that fact and said, yes, we know once it's on the internet forever, but we feel like the professional thing to do here would be to delete it from our site. Obviously, indexes will or archives will exist, but that's all we can do. I think that would have been a better way to handle it. We admit to our mistakes, albeit almost 24 hours later. Own them, update the original to reflect new information. The original article has now been updated, but as we say, it takes a while before it shows. We hold our hands up with this one. You deserve better. We strive to do better. Okay, interesting. But then we talk about the actual author here. Here's Erica Harlicker from Persona replying quite correctly, I believe. I'm glad there was an apology, but the reasoning for not deleting the original article seems very thin. At least put the edit and link at the top of the other article. Some people won't read to the bottom, and the original article is entirely false. Have a great day. Actually, whoa, yeah, they're getting ratioed hard on that. And that's correct, right? When you slide it in at the bottom, hardly anyone's going to read it. I don't know how you make it to the end of a Kotaku article in the first place, but okay, you apologize, sort of. Let's see how this ratio is going. Let's see, 193 favorites. Yeah, this is not. If they deleted the article, they won't get any more clicks. Sadly, that's the reasoning for not taking it down. I agree with that. Erica then replies, well, then they should definitely put a link to the apology really big at the top of the original article, right under the headline. Then everyone will see it, and they'll get 1 or 2 clicks. Oh, I'm great at business. Do it, Kotaku. 2 clicks, 3 clicks. That's very true. But we all know why they left it on. But here's some more interesting information as exposed by Sophia. Well, Laura, the original author, posted this. I'm still not sure what the lyric says. Our mistake was to put up the article live in a forum where it sounded certain of our interpretation, when we should have waited for the comment back and tailored the piece to reflect people's confusion rather than being definitive about it. So in other words, we still would have wrote the article because we need rage clicks, but we wouldn't have been so sure about it. I will be taking the rest of this weekend away from social media. I wish I could have responded this sooner. I'm terribly sorry for this whole situation. Believe me, I did not want to sit there silent while being flooded with understandable criticism. Well, seeing as though you're the victim in all this, Laura Kate, I understand that, we're here to help you. Now, here's some more information about Laura Kate Dale. It's written by Sophia Narwitz. It's an excellent article. Always gotten along really well with her. This is an editorial piece, blah, blah, blah. Yesterday, Kotaku UK editor Laura Kate Dale jumped the gun and wrote an article in which she claimed a song in the newest Persona 5 DLC. Super Smash Bros. Used a word it shouldn't have in this article. The spoken word part of the song seemed to say retorted. The singer, being Japanese, is not a traditional Western speaker, doesn't speak perfect English, and with the word easily misheard. Yet, Kotaku UK, in my estimation, probably wanting to capitalize on Persona and Smash Brothers being an online trending topic, wanted to capitalize on some of the clickbaity nonsense that many gamers who visit the site are all too aware of, decided to publish a piece without first waiting to hear back from Nintendo or Atlus, all the developers of Super Smash and Persona, respectively. Also, I want to tell you, Sophia also shared some Facebook quotes from Laura Kate to say, I specifically said to my boss I didn't want to publish that until the issue was fixed, in case we got comment from the publishers, but we could update the rest. Once it went up and the backlash happened, I tried to explain some of these facts. I got an email from my boss saying I was throwing him under the bus and making the site look bad. I was ordered by my boss to delete my tweets and not defend myself any further. In short, I wrote something questionable about a lyric that sounded bad. The boss ignored my warning, made it definitive, won't let me walk it back or say anything. She said, comment I posted elsewhere. I'm in a bad position. I'm banned from publicly responding. Trust me, I know this looks bad. I'm in a no-win situation. Interesting. Kotaku trying to cover up their mistake. But here's some more information about the author that I didn't know in yesterday's piece. To give an idea of how off-base Laura was, even the users of Reset Era, a notoriously toxic forum in which those who express wrong think outside the general far-left woke consensus often get banned, were opposed to her line of thinking. Following the article, Laura tweeted she was taking some time offline, a tweet that was worded in such a way as to assumed she was looking for a pity party. It was also worth mentioning here, at 3 a.m. Central Time, more than a half day since the article went live, it is yet to be updated. The reason for this, as Kotaku tweeted, is because CMS Gremlin popped up today, and they were unable to get the update live. I doubt that, by the way. You could have put a HT access. You could have did a 301 redirect on the article outside of your CMS to get rid of it. You could have gotten around it if you wanted. Well, I don't doubt the validity of their claim. The fact is it wouldn't have had much problem had they not published the half-baked article in the first place. Let's see. In 2013, Laura Kay claimed she was completely dehumanized on stage during an Xbox One event in London, claiming that comedian Fraser Millward referred to her as he, this one, it, and thing, as Laura phrased it in the tweet. Immediately, the press jumped in. The Daily Dot, Pink News, and Kotaku and others made it as if Fraser was a transphobe. Once again, in the words of Laura Dale, had dehumanized her. The problem, none of that happened. Fraser Millward at one point had referred to her as this person, something Laura deemed as misgendering, ignoring that this person is gender neutral. By the way, so the person that wrote this article is trans, just saying. I mean, I don't know that that's relevant, but to some people it is. It isn't to me. Laura took this as an attack. Then she made up that he had called her it, he, and thing and slandered him online. She later retracted the claim in a joint statement with Fraser. The whole event was eventually swept under the rug, and Laura was able to continue her track towards becoming a games journalist. To reiterate here, Laura Kate Dale blatantly lied about being called he, thing, and it. Nowhere did that happen, and she had to retract it. A handful of years later, she now writes for Kotaku. Let that sink in. Making everything yet even more absurd is the above might have not even been her craziest lie. During E3 2016, she claimed to have been, quote, almost kidnapped, something she would elaborate on Jim Sterling's podcast. As the story goes, during the week of E3, she got in an Uber from a hotel and should have been a 10-minute ride, lasted much longer. Then the driver of her car passed her hotel and hit the button to say he dropped her off. Only to keep driving, she was trapped in the backseat of the vehicle. The driver stayed silent. She claimed the driver stayed silent, ignored all her requests to stop. He eventually drove her to another town 30 minutes south of the destination, where at a set of stoplights, she jumped out of the vehicle and ran away. Oddly, during this time, there's no mention of her trying to phone the police or anything else for that matter. That's interesting. Yeah, at that point, I think my first step would have been to call 911, but obviously that didn't happen. Naturally, you, the reader, must be asking, if this happened, she filed a police report afterwards. Nope. Because, as strange as it is, she didn't want to have to deal with the police. Though she claims she filed a report with Uber, she wouldn't provide proof, as she's fed up with, quote, backseat advice and demands for evidence. Yeah, okay. Eye roll emoji 999 times squared. One of her excuses for not involving the police is because shortly after E3, she got gender reassignment surgery, and knowing that she'd be in the hospital, she didn't want to have to deal with the experience from there. A surgery that was, by the way, crowdfunded on a GoFundMe. A factoid that isn't at all strange, as even myself, I have a GoFundMe, until you look into how often she relies on crowdfunding. Last year, she raised funds for a book that she's writing called Things I Learned from Mario's Butt. A project that was conveniently boosted by major websites such as IGN, to which in an article about ethics I must bring up that one of the people contributing to the book is Zoe Quinn, a person who has raised over $85,000 on her own Kickstarter, a game that has yet to materialize, and never will, by the way. In regards to Laura, besides her crowdfunded book, she once raised thousands for an unnamed homeless man. And given what we've seen above, regards to how she will blatantly make stuff up, one has to question how legitimate that was, especially as she's also asked for money to help her sister move, all of this occurring while she still had a Patreon as well. Now, this isn't a knock on Patreon or crowdfunding. It's a useful tool. Yeah, and I would agree with that. However, you don't want to you can't rely on maybe you need to look at your own life and wonder if you're living beyond your means. From articles that claim prawn in VR is like struggle snuggles to the time she got uppity over gender swap art for Dream Daddy, her entire career is built around stoking the flames of nonsense. And I'll leave the rest to you, obviously. It's a great article, Sophia, by the way. She's helped out in the early stages of exclusively games, too. I mean, it's a twisted world that we live in at times, but it seems like some people are looking for handouts and looking for everyone else to fix all their mistakes. I don't know how this person continues to be employed at Kotaku. It sounds like they are, by all measurements, a garbage human, in my opinion. In terms of, getting your life in order. If you need to go fund me something just to move, maybe you should, get a second job like most people do. When I got out of college, I worked 2 jobs. My wife worked 2 jobs. Plus I did side projects fixing computers. And that's how we got our first house. That's how most people do it. They don't launch a GoFundMe for every little thing. Now, if you have a GoFundMe, let's say for a lawsuit over a man that assaulted you, I think that's fine. But when you have 4, 5, 6, 7 of these things, one starts to question if you're ever going to adjust your lifestyle to pay for the things that you supposedly need or want. I mean, crowdfunding to move your sister, crowdfunding to move yourself, crowdfunding for an alleged homeless man. This is from somebody who has repeatedly made up lies. So I'm guessing that all this money, and hypothetically, it's my opinion that all this money probably ended up in her own pocket. But Kotaku continues to employ her, and good for them because it gives us material to point and laugh at. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.